Our next presentation is from the Implementation Strategy Committee titled, Changing the Implementation Climate. Here with us is Bob Patty, Executive Vice President of Corporate Operations for Lauren Engineers and Constructors. Bob has more than 30 years of industry experience and has been a constructability lean consultant for Petro-Canada, Saudi Aramco, BP, and KBR, personally leading implementation on projects in the United States, Canada, Venezuela, and Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Patty.
Good afternoon. I'm going to discuss changing the implementation climate for rapid improvement. We've heard many excellent presentations, many research results, lean being one of them, improving productivity 20 to 30%, recommendations to get started on doing all of these things. If that seems a little overwhelming, not only to keep up with this year's research at CII, but that research that has been done in previous years, you're not alone. We want to talk about the climate in our industry for improvement because the results could be better. Keeping up with institutionalizing the new research, let alone what was published last year, with the understanding that the market demands it, demands that we do it faster than the competition. Research has shown that 73% of CII board members consider the implementation efforts are minimal to only somewhat effective. Furthermore, 73% of CII implementation champions agree. These are the people that we hire and set up in our organizations to implement the improvements that are presented here. This is not a technical issue. This is a cultural issue. We've been told that human behavior, culture is foundational, the most important factor. So how are we going to change the implementation climate? This is the CII implementation model. You'll note at the base of it is corporate commitment. The whole model is founded on corporate commitment. That is our focus. You're going to need real executive support, executive vision for how to pull together the best skill and stakeholders for providing value to your clients, and seriously consider the CII research and how you're going to implement it within your company. How are your executives going to steer implementation improvement given the circumstances actually faced by your company people? Are you building a culture of executive ownership of outcome for improvement? Are you building a culture of executive accountability to peers, to their peers, to direct reports and others as a means to improve executive accountability to the CEO and clients? Do you realize that in other industries, the ability, that is, how executives are going to gather their skill and stakeholders together and figure out, use information about how to improve, to actually implement improvement faster than the competitors, is the major selection criteria for executives. Do you have executives with that experience who can, in fact, have the belief that they can make implementation work in their organization to change the actions that will result in the benefits that we're talking about here? If not, do you consider yourself victims? Executive experience can be managed. the beliefs of executives can be changed by experience so that the actions and results that we want can be achieved. Let's recall the step change for safety that we've all experienced in the last couple of decades. Most of our executives have experience with facilitating this step change in safety. Do you recall how that actually got moving and sustained? Wasn't it by the executive involvement and ownership of safety? Can you apply the lessons learned in breakaway safety performance improvement to the implementation of the CII research? Do your executives realize that serious improvement in any area is the result of effective implementation, and that this is vital to corporate sustainability? Do your executives take ownership of the implementation process, or are they waiting for someone to provide them how to do it on a silver platter? Can we create a faster learning organization through implementation? It is different and is going to require full executive engagement. Companies that engage their executives to improve faster and earlier than competitors are going to create an opportunity to dominate their industry. This implementation is built on corporate commitment, and that means executive experience, change in belief, and actions that are going to give us the intended results. So what does effective implementation look like? We've seen in many presentations the impact of making some measurements. So we're going to have to establish within our own organization what currently is. And then using CII implementation research, we can identify what should be. And then we have to decide, what are we going to do to close the gap? Right here, right now. And we're going to have to take the risk of doing it during the middle of a project and not just be too busy. CII performance assessments can help with this. But is that enough? Of course, it's not going to work as well as we expected at the beginning or hoped for the first time. So you're going to need some prompt course corrections. Again, the CII implementation model can help. But what does corporate commitment really mean? Raising the rate or level of improvement to match commitment. Experience of executives, changing that into belief, and so forth. Many of the cultural aspects that we focus on at Lauren are trustworthiness, that is ultra-high trustworthiness, organizational trustworthiness, transparency, accountability, and unity that support the increased level of trustworthiness. Rapid and continuous improvement is essential for corporate survival. At Lauren, continuous improvement is enthroned as a most valued executive talent to achieve reliable client bottom line improvement. That's where we want to go because in the end, the market demands it. In our implementation session, our session learning objectives are to understand or see how corporate commitment enables implementation of CII research and drives performance at CII owners and contractor member organizations. You'll preview what CII and the Implementation Strategy Committee corporate commitment research is revealing. We recognize the sustained corporate commitment is essential to CII implementation model, and there'll be plenty of time for you to ask the difficult questions. Our presenters on our panel include Procter & Gamble, Lauren Engineers and Constructors, Worley Parsons, and our researcher from the University of Colorado at Boulder. So let's change the implementation climate and not be victims. Don't go home from this conference enthusiastic about what could be without the effective means to manage a climate change in your organization. Please join us. We have a very broad and active committee, and we'll be in Mediterranean Salon number 8 between 1 and 2:15 this afternoon, or again at 2:15. Thank you.